And FIFA announced that 16 North American cities will host the 2026 World Cup. The games played across the U.S., Mexico, and Canada will have 11 U.S. cities hosting from around the country, including New York, Miami, Los Angeles. Mexico will have 3 host cities, including Mexico City, Guadalajara, and Monterrey. And Canada will have 2 host cities, Toronto and Vancouver.
FIFA Vice President Victor Montagliani said that only the governing body and not world leaders will decide if any 2026 World Cup matches are to be moved from host cities.
Of excitement, the air is thick with anxiety and pressure, not on FIFA, not on Canada or Mexico. The co-hosts, the real burden falls squarely on the United States, because FIFA, after the embarrassment of the Club World Cup, is leaving no stone unturned. They're giving the US everything to ensure this becomes a grand spectacle. But the question is, can America truly deliver?
We have a great Washington, D.C. We, as you probably know, we're going into Memphis and we're going into some other cities, and very soon we're going to go into Chicago. It will be safe for the World Cup.
The story of the 2026 World Cup was supposed to be simple: a global celebration, a massive sporting moment, a chance for the United States to remind the world that it can host, organize, and welcome better than any other nation on earth. But today, a completely different reality is unfolding. One that no one saw coming, not even the people planning the tournament. Because behind the stadium lights, behind the hype videos, behind the giant logos and slogans, something is breaking. Something deep, structural, and dangerous. And if it isn't fixed soon, the United States might unintentionally hand over its own World Cup to Canada and Mexico. This isn't an exaggeration. It isn't a rumor. It's a real growing fear inside FIFA circles, fan communities, travel groups, and even the organizers themselves. The world wants to come to America, but America's own systems are slowing that welcome down. The problem didn't start yesterday. Over the last 2 years, visa processing delays have exploded across dozens of countries. Fans who plan to travel to the US for the World Cup now find themselves stuck in year-long appointment waits. Families in Asia, Africa, South America, and Eastern Europe are hearing the same frustrating message. No available appointments. Try again later. For many of these fans, later means after the tournament is already over. And this is where the panic begins. Because the 2026 World Cup isn't just big, it's the biggest ever held. 48 teams, hundreds of thousands of international visitors, tens of billions of dollars in spending. But the United States is struggling to clear the basic doorway that allows the world in. Some fans are facing travel bans that make the process even more complicated. Others are overwhelmed by entry requirements, paperwork, and unpredictable wait times. Even fans who have traveled to the US before are suddenly being told they need interviews or extra checks that weren't required before. One travel analyst said it best: "It's easier to fly halfway across the world than it is to enter the United States." And while this is happening, Canada and Mexico are moving with calm, steady efficiency. Canada's visitor visa system is clean, digital, and predictable. Mexico has a long list of visa exemptions and clear entry rules. Fans who fail to get a US visa are asking a simple question: should we just go to the matches in Vancouver or Mexico City instead? And this is where the situation gets even more serious. The hosting contract, the one signed years ago, gives FIFA the right to shift matches if global access isn't guaranteed. In simple terms, if fans from around the world cannot reliably enter a US city, the match doesn't have to stay in that US city. Imagine that for a moment. Matches meant for Los Angeles or New York quietly moving north to Vancouver or south to Guadalajara, full stadiums in Canada and Mexico, half-empty venues in the United States, and an entire narrative changing overnight. People ask, how could the US lose a World Cup it already won? The answer is becoming clearer: visas, borders, costs, and perception. Because visas are only the beginning. The second major pressure point is economic friction. The US has tightened trade policies over the last few years, and the ripple effects are hitting the tournament from every angle. Stadium materials cost more. Supply chains are slower. Construction teams are paying more for equipment, steel, lumber, and basic parts. Even hotels preparing for the event are facing price spikes on food, maintenance, and labor. When you add this all together, hosting becomes more expensive, more stressful, and less predictable inside the United States. Meanwhile, Canada and Mexico, whose supply chains aren't under the same pressure, are becoming the more affordable, more organized parts of the three-country hosting team. And that's where the real shift begins. Because this isn't only about immigration or trade, it's also about global trust. When the World Cup was awarded to North America, the idea was simple: welcome the world. But that welcome only works when the doors open smoothly, when fans feel safe, when travel is easy, and when costs don't make the trip impossible. Right now, the U.S. is struggling on all four fronts. Fans watching from abroad are noticing. Sponsors are noticing. Even federations are raising quiet questions. Will our fans be able to get in? Will the travel be affordable? Will the process be predictable? And some are already making backup plans. Inside FIFA, discussions have begun, not to move the entire tournament, but to ensure every match can guarantee global access. If one U.S. city cannot handle the inflow, another country can. Canada and Mexico are part of this system for a reason. They're the safety net, the backup plan, the reliable co-host that can absorb the pressure if the U.S. system fails. But here's the twist. Canada and Mexico are no longer just backups. They're becoming the preferred options. When fans compare wait times, ticket availability, hotel prices, and travel rules, the reviews are clear. Canada is easier, Mexico is simpler, and both countries feel increasingly attractive to international travelers who don't want to fight through a wall of restrictions. Some Americans argue that the U.S. can handle it, and that's true. The country has world-class stadiums, airports, highways, and hotels. Infrastructure isn't the problem. The problem is everything that comes before the infrastructure: the paperwork, the restrictions, the delays, the perception. Because perception, especially in global sport, is everything. If fans believe they won't get a visa in time, they won't risk it. If they believe hotels in a certain U.S. city are too expensive, they'll choose a different match. If they feel a city is being labeled unsafe, they'll take their money and excitement elsewhere. And elsewhere in 2026 means Canada and Mexico, countries that have been waiting patiently, preparing quietly, and organizing efficiently behind the scenes. There's another layer to the story. The expanded 48-team format makes everything bigger. More fans, more reporters, more staff, more movement, more logistics. Less room for error? The United States was expected to handle this with ease, but the cracks are showing, and the world is watching closely to see whether America can rise to the moment or let the moment slip across its borders. Inside the U.S., officials are aware of the problem. Consulates are being pushed to increase staff. Processing centers are working to clear backlogs. But time is limited. Demand is rising faster than solutions. And the perception has already begun to shift. The uncomfortable truth is this: if thousands of fans cannot get visas, the U.S. will host stadiums full of empty seats while Canada and Mexico fill theirs. It would be unprecedented, embarrassing, and completely avoidable. But the script isn't finished yet. The U.S. still has time to fix this, to streamline entry rules, to speed up visas, to cut unnecessary barriers, and to welcome the world the way it promised. The question is whether it will. Because for fans, this tournament is more than sport. It's a pilgrimage, a once-in-a-lifetime journey. People will spend their savings, travel across continents, bring their families, and chase a dream they've waited 4 years to live. They don't want an obstacle course. They want clarity. They want simplicity. They want to feel like the country hosting the tournament actually wants them there. If the U.S. can provide that, the story will change. The excitement will return. The stadiums will roar as they were meant to. But if the system doesn't improve, the world will shift its attention and its matches to the neighbors waiting on both sides of the border. Canada and Mexico didn't expect this moment, but they might be the ones who saved the World Cup from slipping into chaos. And the irony is hard to ignore. The United States dreamed of shining on the world stage. But if it cannot open its doors fast enough, the spotlight may move without it. The world is ready, the fans are ready, the teams are ready. The question is whether America's ready. And if it isn't, Canada and Mexico won't just be co-hosts. They'll be the ones who carry the tournament's spirit when America cannot. The countdown to 2026 is ticking, and the world is waiting to see who will truly welcome it.